Hey guys, I wanted to do part 4 here. Keep going about the scroll of life and time and the first Earth Age. Like where we left off last time, we talked about calendars. We talked about a lot of stuff, but at the end, calendars and rocks. And I had mentioned granite. And why granite? Because granite tells you a lot of things. It tells you about the history of the planets. It's recorded in the igneous rocks we find, the sedimentary, the metamorphic rocks that formed throughout the development of the Earth. In the rocks we find evidence for ancient volcanic eruptions, shallow inland seas, extensive um, migratorial structure changes which occurred beneath the Earth's surface. Petrology begins with a review of the classification of igneous rocks, followed by a study of the field occurrences, minerals, textures, and compositions. There's so much stuff you can go to school for different rocks and geology. A lot of places got different courses. It's a study of igneous and metamorphic rocks and the process with which form together in the rocks 95% of the Earth's crust and exposed over one-third of the continental land. Just like in the beginning, too, guys, I want to mention with Genesis, um, God created the heaven and the earth, period. Like I talked about the moon and the stars, and he was talking about past, present, future, because God is all-knowing, all-being, so his word is going to keep reproducing, and it's going to tell you more than one thing. The dinosaurs, our last Earth age was 7,000 years ago. And if you watch my other videos about the first people and about everything we've talked about, the Bible fits right in. The last ice age, 7,000 years. You got 7 days of creation, and then he rested, and there's 8. So there's at least 7.5, 8. And then you figure dinosaurs were alive about 7. So that puts us right on about 14, 13 to 14. And it's not hard, but the rocks is what tells the story, you guys. That's the kid's goat. So I put him in there for number 4. We left off talking about this. I forget what that rock's called, guys. But with these earthquakes coming up, and this is the lattice, and like over here, things are coming back in order, you guys, and these things gotta happen. And God said he's gonna be there with us. And if you've looked like about the spiral galaxy and how really our planets are out there, and about what's going on with the Earth's poles, when we gather back, this is all gonna be fixed, like I talked about. And we're knocked off here, out here on this world picture a little bit, but it's gonna be back. 8 is an infinity number. God has left his mark all throughout nature, you guys. It's in plants, and it's pattern, and the plants, and that's why the Indians would say, the earth knows more about what's going on. The earth doesn't need us, we need the earth. And the earth is smarter than we are, and we should be listening to it. And these poles will be put back. I talked about sights and signs. If you guys check out what the Earth really looks like from outer space, about the spiral galaxies and the stuff that's came out, God promised, just like he said, the Earth would open her mouth and swallow up all the lies that Satan's put out there. That's these lies, guys, all over. And God's left this pattern, this harmony. He's on waves. He's in everything. And I talk about this throughout all my other videos, because all of everything connects. In the universe, you find this pattern. If you look at the golden ratio and triangle and my other ones. I wanted to talk, there's some videos out there, you guys, to watch about constellations and signs. What's the difference? type them both in, and there's a couple out there that's really good. And you'll learn about like 2012, where I talked about that was an event that only happens every 26,000 years. Yeah, we go through the same cycle, but when you learn about the galactic cross and stuff, and what happened, and it crosses all those points, the great circles. And this is what all the ancients were doing, and the knowledge that was handed down. You guys, we just got to put things together like I talked about. But here are these great circles on the earth, and pilots use them. And here is another picture right here to look at. And the solstice or season is the longest and shortest days, and where the two circles are furthest apart. Where the two circles meet are the equinoxes, an equal day and night. 0 Aries is spring equinox. The next 30 degrees or 30 days is the sign or season of Aries. Then comes 0 Taurus, and the next 30 degrees is 30 days is the season of Taurus. And then the season of Gemini follows up to the next season. 0 Cancer marks the summer solstice. And I wanted to point out in these, see how the yellow dots are the sun, and you see how the constellation is. And this was from 1 AD to 3000 AD, winter. And then the one to your right is 3000 AD, winter solstice. The sun, 0 Capricorn, will arise near the heart of the Scorpion. To see where it was out here, these signs move, you guys. It's like they talked about this guy was going to be a 13th zodiac sign, but he's not, because it's a constellation, and a sign are seasonal. So when we're in the season, we can look up and we can see these signs, guys. And like I said again, it's not worship and stuff. It's the science and what the stars are doing. Just like the yellow dot, like right here, once again, and you see this, him right here, and then you look over here where it's setting. It goes from right here to up here, and everything's moving on these lines. And you guys check that out, and that'll help. And when all this stuff goes back, you guys, it's no more storms, no more violent earthquakes, but we got to go through these really this tough stuff coming up. But God's going to be right there with us, and the earth's going to be rejuvenated. We're going to be okay. When you guys, that's a terracotta army to the right. And when you guys look back and you see that all the oldest cultures, like one that I was going to point out, I tell you, like, remember on the calendars how we talked about that, and that 18.5-year moon cycle and stuff, and that looked just like the scroll we talked about too. But the big was closest, and the farthest was the small, and it was just really neat how they had kept track of that. And there's like 72,000 different accounts, you guys, for a flood story. So whether it was just in that area or over the whole world, it did happen. We got evidence for the first cannibal where Satan rebelled from spiritual. But you find a lot of stuff in Persia and different places, and you gotta look. And just like I showed you guys the maps and the stuff in the last one, that's where some of this stuff's going on, and that's where we want to watch. Reading God's words is like right on. It's like tomorrow's newspaper. But just like the knowledge is hid. When you guys look at some of the oldest knowledge, it's out there. Sumeria, Egypt, you got China, or North China, and you got some different cultures, and those are the ones that you find. But when you take into account about Pangea and stuff, and you remember that these way back then when the giants did start intermixing, you guys, and they didn't always all get along, that we'll talk about. And they were fighting, but they were given information. And these were high-dimensional creatures, angels. We'll get it in number 5. Next one, guys.